Well, really quick, you guys. What I'd like you guys each to just think of as I'm talking is one tip, just one little tip for people thinking about doing the St. George Ironman or first time Ironman coming up to do it here at St. George for 2011. We'll start with Ross.
The most common concern from people I've heard of is they're new to swimming. I know a lot of runners that aren't worried about running a marathon, and usually they have a little bit of biking where they're not worried about that. But make sure you can do all three sports, number one. And the other big piece of advice is make sure your life will allow, well, I've heard people putting in 30 to 40 hours training.
Yep.
I was glad if I could get to about, I don't know, 10 to 15 was a good week, but it's hard finding the time.
But you did it though, and you had a good experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So make sure your schedule can allow it, not just, for 1 month, 2 months out, but it needs to be at least half a year for people that are new and out of shape. I think they need to start training now if they're going to do Ironman 2011.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically make sure your family's on board as well.
Yes. Your family and your schedule.
And your schedule and work schedule.
And your abilities
to
do the three sports. Yep.
Good suggestion. What about you, Lindsey?
Well, I have thousands of tips, I guess.
Let's just do one.
I was talking to the pros 3 days before the race, and they suggested nutrition is really important.
Okay.
And I realized that when I was out biking one time, I hit about mile 60 and started cramping. I'm going, why is that? And I realized that it's because of the nutrition.
And are you referring more to nutrition during the event rather than during the weeks of training? Or?
Kind of both. I mean, you got to stay away from sugars and flour. That'll help you clean out your system.
Okay.
And then while you're out there, you got to have enough. You got to keep your energy level up to the point that you feel like you can, be strong the whole way through. Well, I was able to maintain my strength all the way through. The only problem I had was at mile 24 on the run. I had a recurring injury. It was creeping back into my right leg, a shin splint from when I was putting in a lot of miles. And I usually did, like I said before, I did 3 miles a day. Well, I bumped that up to 8, then 10, then 12, then 13. And because of that, my shin splint started happening to me, and I was able to recover from that enough to do the Ironman. But then again, at mile 24, it started showing its signs, and that last couple of miles was a little bit painful, but I got through it.
Luckily, that was the downhill portion.
And it was,
by then.
yeah. And I was able to keep a great run for that. And still qualified for Kona.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
So he suggested that you keep your nutrition level up high and you use sodium so you don't get dehydrated.
Okay.
And so I took a sodium tablet the day before, and then for the run part I took on Coke because it has salt in it, and potato chips because it has sodium in it, and the water, of course. You gotta keep the balance of your Coke and your water. You don't want to be too much on one.
Yep.
And I was able to maintain a good level in the run and not have the stomach affect me too much because of the you can't have too much in there; it just sits.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't you think you need to be doing that during the biking too, so that you have something going into the run?
Yeah, like I said, I took on my candy bars and my goo.
And I think you're totally right, Lindsey. I think that's a great tip to just people really need to be aware of what they need to do for nutrition, and what a better time than during your training, during those bricks that you're doing, during those long weekend workouts, to really dial things in and see what works, because everybody's stomach's a little bit different than one another, and get a feel. And a half Ironman is also a good place to test things out and see what's going on with your system and see what works for you and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
As well. What about you, Brian?
Like Lindsey said, there's a laundry list of things that you have to do.
What's the one that stands out the most for you personally in your mind?
The biggest thing for me, now that it's done,
Yeah.
prior to it, he and I have the same backgrounds. We're both numbers guys.
Yeah.
So I'm very analytical when it comes to that.
Yeah.
On the same token, I'm also competitive. Anybody that starts this sport, you're a competitor. You want to win.
Whether you're competing against other people or competing against yourself or whatever.
But for a first timer, the most important thing that I've found out now is to go out and thoroughly enjoy the experience and have fun.
Yeah.
That's why we got involved with this sport to begin with.
Exactly.
We thoroughly enjoyed it, but somewhere along the way, like in Lindsey's case, his performance has just gone through the roof. Now he's Kona qualifier.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, up there at the top of the charts. But for me, a first timer in an Ironman, only my second season, I kind of lost sight of that.
Okay.
I was thinking, okay, I'm coming home in 12 hours. There's my, I'm coming home in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I lost sight of what the whole purpose of the sport was when I first got involved with it.
Yeah.
First it was to mentally cleanse me. And physically I was overweight, dropped the 60-something pounds that I had packed on over a few years of depression. But I got involved because I thoroughly loved the sport.
Yeah.
And don't lose sight of that. You can get wrapped up in these, a power meter and a $5,000 bike and
my friend's doing this.
He's doing that. Don't get so involved with all these. You can pick up an article and there's 80,000 different pieces of advice on nutrition and running and this and that, and use a power meter and a heart rate monitor. Goodness gracious, go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Go out and enjoy the sport for what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And contribute to it and give back to people. I know now that I'm by no means a veteran, but I'm going into my second, now third season of this. People are coming up to me and asking me advice. Where I was in their shoes not too long ago.
Yep.
And so I get to pay it forward.
Exactly.
I get to give that advice back now for all these people that have mentored me and helped me out.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Giving back to those that have, just paying it forward, keeping that cycle going. Have fun. It is a wonderful sport. And look, all of us sitting here.
Yep.
We're in great physical shape.
Yeah.
You're beating the sands of time. We're defying the aging process. And
if you don't want me asking, how old are you guys?
I'm 40.
51.
51?
52.
52?
43.
Okay, great.
And I bet you, well, my group, the 40 to 44 was the largest of the participants in this year's Ironman. Call it midlife crisis, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that would be my advice. Don't lose sight of what you got into this sport, and that's just go out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe in 5 years down the road, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you find yourself in this guy's shoes, yes, then you want to start, really putting some money into it.
So basically that first time out, for people that are first thinking about doing it, just go out, have a good time. Don't put a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself. And there's a lot of variables that can happen in a day. Like Ross was saying, we could have, extreme heat, we can have cold water like we did, we can have wind on this course. Just go out and enjoy yourself. Yeah, I think that's good advice. Well, awesome, guys.
There's only 70-something Kona spots available. That's pretty slim pickings.
Do that first one, then start working on.
Then you can work on it. Then worry about it.
And beat Lindsey.
Yeah.
Well, the first Ironman's winning time was 11 hours and 40 some odd minutes in Hawaii. So, I mean, so.
You beat that on
to
a
beat
tougher
that at my
course.
first. I was ecstatic. Yeah, I was excited about that.
Impressive. That's pretty impressive. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. I really want to thank you guys for coming over and talking. We touched upon some great things. Got to know you guys even a little bit better, and I think it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed sharing your experience and everything with everybody. So appreciate it, and we'll wrap it up. Thank you.